Speaking of jokes, remember yesterday when I joked that the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say is in the moment when you're saying it? I wasn't joking. I was deadly serious. There are hundreds and thousands of conversations that we walk into every single day, and we say, I didn't see that coming. Yet they were known conversations. They were known questions that were going to be asked of us on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, yes? Now, some of those questions are remarkably difficult to answer. And I figured to try and be as practical as possible in this hour or so that we have together here today is I'm going to help you answer one of the most difficult questions on the planet. Would you like some help in answering one of the most difficult questions on the planet? Yes. What are some of the most difficult questions on the planet? What have we got?
Why are we here?
Who am I? Why are we here? What else? What else?
What do you do?
So what do you do, right? Definitely that one. Definitely that one. How much do I charge? Where are interest rates going? These aren't that hard, are they? And the so what do you do one is definitely one. I think we could spend some time there for a while. And so still surprised that nobody said, like, what's for dinner? Like, that's one of the hardest questions to answer, right? Is what's for dinner tonight? Well, let's just see how good we are at this stuff right now. Is a question you know you're going to be asked, particularly in professional capacity, is like, what do you do for work, right? Like, so what do you do? And if you know you're going to be asked a question, you should be ready to respond to it, right? So if I was to ask you, Katarina, what do you do? How do you answer the question?
I'm a career strategist. I help leaders advance in their careers by helping them navigate the job market, lead with confidence, and leverage their expertise.
Okay. Anybody got any idea what Katarina does? Figured. Would you like to tell me what you do, Eric?
I am a biostatistician, so I...
Sorry, what?
Biostatistician.
Wow.
Officially.
You're already scaring the crap out of me. I'm leaving this conversation quickly. This is already overwhelming.
I translate health data into actionable answers and new insights.
Wow. Wow. And anybody know anybody that they could introduce Eric to that might have a need for his services? Just the one then, right? Just the one. Natalie, what do you do?
I'm a visitor. Is this on?
Should be.
Oh.
Try and figure it out. Like,
Hello?
Like
Hello.
Starsky like sometimes gets AV right. That's what he does.
It's Dr. Natalie.
Yeah. Dr. Natalie, come on.
I'm a visibility coach, so I help small business owners and realtors build their personal brands so they can gain influence.
Okay. Anybody know what she does?
Yes.
It's a little clearer, right? A little clearer. David.
Good morning. I lead a company that helps health food stores become destination locations in their communities.
Okay. These are good, right? These are good. And what these are is good catch-alls. What happens is we try to feed everybody a cheeseburger regardless of what they would like, right? What happens is we tell them that our cheeseburger is the best cheeseburger that they could possibly have, and the so what do you do answer to that question. Why? Why do we try to have this one-size-catches-all answer to the so what do you do question? Any idea?
Because we want it to be relevant to them.
We want to be remarkably relevant to them. We also want them to value the response that we put in there. We also want to be impressed. Why do people ask the so what do you do question? Sometimes they feel like they should. Some form of respect. It's a judgment question, right? It's like, who are you? Who am I to you? Who are you to me? Am I better than you? Am I worse than you? Oh, they're looking for permission to be able to return this favor. So what they can do is instantly respond with their version of the same answer to the same question. This is a question we know we're going to be asked, that almost all of us have learned to put some really witty, intelligent one-liner response to it, and we're like, phew, I did it. Rarely does it lead to more effective conversations. More often than not, it results in somebody putting you in a box. They judge your answer, put you in a box, and they think they now understand what you do, and almost every time they are wrong. Does this build or destroy a reputation? Potentially self-sabotages your reputation from how you're answering the so what do you do question. Would it help if we could run slow and help you answer that question with more intent every time that it comes up in the future so you can get more of the outcomes you're looking for? Okay. So we're going to try and unpack this so what do you do question. We're going to help put you into a situation where you have utility in how you respond to it. Not an answer to the question, answers to the question, so you can show up with more intent every single time somebody asks you to introduce yourself in the future. Useful, yes or no? Yes. Okay, this is remarkably simple and really freaking hard, which I think Alan gave us some insights around, right? Like, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. This is one of the hardest questions for us to be able to answer, and to be able to answer this question with efficacy, firstly, we need to only know the answer to 2 essential questions. If you know the answer to these questions, you can start to position yourself, package yourself, and help people understand your value more clearly, more freely. The first of those questions is this one. See, you're not in the business of doing what you do, you're in the business of helping a certain group of people. Who are the people you're looking to help? Let's call that question X. Easy, right? Who are the people you're looking to help? And then second question is, what are the challenges you're looking to help them overcome? Sounds pretty easy, correct? So why don't I just come to Mr. Alan Stein that says that it might be simple, but it isn't easy. Alan, who are the people you're looking to help?
Corporations.
Okay, and how many
businesses?
Okay, and how many of those are there in North America alone?
Decent amount.
Decent amount.
Yes.
So what I'm asking you to do is to give me the ability to look at a smaller group of people so I could help identify what might be an opportunity for you,
Yep.
and you gave me everybody.
Yes.
This is what happens because we're so fearful of missing out. We shoot with the widest net that we possibly can at the top end, thinking it's helpful to people, but it actually becomes hurtful
Yes.
because there's not enough specificity to it. So if I look at it and I said, who are the people you're looking to help? And you said businesses and corporations, and I then said, what are the challenges you're looking to help them overcome? You'd say what?
Improve organizational performance.
Okay. What we have is vanilla ice cream,
Yeah.
which is what many of us show up with our responses, is we try and come up with the best version of vanilla ice cream. Who in this room's favorite ice cream is vanilla? Some, right? And the vanilla that is your favorite is not just any type of vanilla ice cream, though, is it? Your favorite vanilla ice cream actually has a huge amount of specificity to it as well. So it isn't actually vanilla ice cream that's your favorite. It's a particular brand, a particular type, in a particular way. Because even when you like the same thing as everyone else, you like that thing a very specific way. If your answer to the "so what do you do" question is like Walmart vanilla ice cream, then you're going to get paid Walmart vanilla ice cream money. Or you're going to have to hustle really hard to be able to get a response to this question. The reason that this becomes challenging, Alan, is because we try to answer the question once. That's where the mistake kicks in. What we should be looking to be able to do is to build a collection of I help X achieve Y statements. And every single one of us in this room should have a plethora of I help X achieve Ys with added levels of specificity. We'll stay with Alan for this for a second. And what type of businesses? What type of corporations are you talking about?
I mean, it's pretty industry agnostic, so that's, yeah. I mean, obviously, I got some work to do on this.
Ah, yeah. Wonder why I picked you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
Wonder
it.
why I picked you.
I appreciate it.
The trouble we have is that we are not choosing our customers, we're letting them choose us, which is why you end up with the I'm for anybody and everybody, because anybody's and everybody's are picking you. Yeah. If you could pick, who would be the kind of organizations that you'd like to be able to work with?
Sales organizations.
Okay, so we narrowed it in. Sales organizations. Why?
It's been my experience, sales professionals usually really resonate with the kind of athlete mentality, so I feel like it'd be a good fit.
There's a good crossover in there, is that the athlete mentality to a sales team starts to be overlapped. Why else?
I don't know.
Don't know, right? It becomes tough.
It does.
So sometimes what we have to come at it and to say, well, if it's sales teams within corporations in North America, well, you can then start to say, well, what are the challenges you're looking to help those people overcome? What are those?
Improve culture, collaboration, working together, like not...
These are nice to haves, right? Improve culture, collaboration, etc. Are these expensive problems or nice to have problems?
Yeah, I guess nice to have.
Are they mission critical problems?
Probably not.
See, if you're looking to get paid when you're positioning yourself to the "so what do you do" question, you need to have an awareness of people and the challenges you're looking to try and help them overcome. And are those challenges an urgent challenge? Are they an immediate challenge? Are they an important challenge? Or are they a nice-to-have challenge? Many of us are positioning ourselves with nice-to-have outcomes. It's like that challenge exists inside organizations. That challenge exists inside the type of people that I'm looking to work with. But it's aspirational. we'd like to have an improved culture, but right now people are fucking leaving and our revenues are down, and if I don't get the numbers that we need by end of Q4, like I'm going to have to make layoffs. So yes, we want to work on culture. I'm not saying we don't, but there's something that's right here, right now, that is a more important issue. Remember yesterday I talked about curiosity, empathy, and courage.
Yes.
The empathy piece is showing that you know people. Do you know the people you're looking to try and help? Because if you don't, there's a strong possibility you can't help them. We're showing up with generalizations. We've got vanilla ice cream for all because most people quite like vanilla ice cream, so we'll give vanilla ice cream for all. The risk is not focusing good answers to the so what do you do question means we end up working with some of the customers we wish we didn't want to work with. Show of hands in this room, who has a client right now they wish they didn't have? Is that somebody you strategically hunted down and chose? So I'd love to hang out with you more often. Or is it possible that they chose you? See, if you're not choosing who you want to work with and they're choosing you, why might they be choosing you? Because nobody else wants to work with them, which could quite literally mean that you end up only feeding on other people's waste. Oof. Oh, right? It's true. It's true. Most of us are not executing our right to choose because we're choosing anybody and everybody, and then we're like disappointed with the scraps we get. See, the trouble we have is we're trying to shoot too wide. What if, Alan, though I invited you to say, well, you could only work with 3 groups of people? Only 3 groups of people. Who might be the 3 groups of people you could work with? Not 1, 3. What if I now give you more choice?
Sales professionals, executives, HR professionals.
So we've got HR professionals, we've got sales teams, and we've got executives, right? We've got 3 different groups of people right now. If I ask you to play with those 3 different groups of people and say, well, what are the biggest, most important, essential, high payoff problems that exist inside those people right now? Could you answer those questions?
Probably not at this moment, no.
Okay, could we help Alan answer these questions? Anybody in this team, this room right now, run a sales team? Okay, the sales team that you have right now, what are the 3 biggest problems that they have?
They have mindset issues and confidence issues in terms of execution.
So mindset issues, confidence issues. What else?
Getting leads.
They don't have enough opportunity, right? They're not creating enough of their own opportunity. They're not self-genning enough opportunity. They're not taking responsibility for that opportunity. What else? Who runs sales teams? Burnout, effective communication, what happens in the moments that matter. You see how hard that was to find out?
Yeah.
We just found out via a detailed survey what some of the biggest challenges are of running sales teams at this time. Now, what about corporate executives? Anybody in this room a corporate executive in some way, shape, or form? Lead a fairly decent-sized organization? What were some of the reasons why you stopped being a corporate executive?
Dr. James clarified for me, my sentence was valid. That role was killing me on a cellular level.
Okay, the role was killing you on a cellular level. Why?
Because I don't have great boundaries,
Okay.
and so I would go 7 days a week, 14, 16 hours.
You don't have great boundaries. What you're doing is you're overworking. You're committing too much time. You're carrying other people's problems. There feels like an overload. There is no version of success that feels possible or prioritable.
And shit rolls uphill.
Shit keeps rolling up the hill, and because you care, and because you love your people, and because you love your work, and because you love yourself, what happens is you cannot let go of the responsibility of whatever the outcome is that was being achieved or not being achieved, even though it was imposed by somebody else.
And you make significant decisions, fast-paced on a daily basis that impact people in a significant way. And oh shit, what if I got?
Oh, and you have decision fatigue as a result of that, correct? Just like the quantity of decisions that a basketball player needs to make on a field of play, a court of play every single day, because every decision that they make impacts the score on the scoreboard, correct?
And then management says it's not about the people, it's about the numbers.
I said not about the people, it's about the number, screw the people. You see how we're starting to find out what the real problems are here?
Yes.
See, what all of us need to have is we need to have what I would call a 3x3. Who are the 3 people that you're looking to try and help? And what are the 3 biggest problems that exist in those people's world right now? What we're doing is we're building the ingredients together here to be able to bake cakes of our answers to the so what do you do question. Play a 3x3. What we now have is not 1 answer to the question. We now have potentially 9 answers to that question.
Correct.
What we have is I help X achieve Y, 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 right? Could you all have 9 I help X achieves Ys? If you play 3 by 3. Right now we've got more utility. You can push this one stage further. What if you have I help X achieve Y, and then you went 3 by 3 by 3, and you had 3 reasons why that matters? I help X achieve Y, then you ask yourself the question why, and then you write that down too. What I've now got is a pantry of 27 ingredients that I can work with that give me utility in my answers to the what do you do question. Yeah. This becoming helpful?
Yes, very.
So you could sit there and say, well, I know my people, 3 groups of people. I know their 3 biggest problems. Why is that important? Well, I know that 3 times over as well. What I've now got is all these statements. This is, I help X achieve Y because. I help X achieve Y because. I help X achieve Y because. Is this utility in practice helping you become disciplined and useful of being able to respond to the so what do you do question? All we're doing is building an arsenal of materials. Alan's got a question. We're at a blockage. Talk to me.
I would assume you're probably getting ready to get to that, but so we come here, we sit down, we've never met, she starts with that question. Obviously, I'm going to need some clarification on which one of those 27.
You're right? Because now what you've got is you've got overload of arsenal. Like, which one do I reach for from this pantry of ingredients? This gets difficult. We're back to the point that Tim taught us earlier and that Kate taught us earlier and that James taught us earlier, is we get asked big questions and we think we need fast answers. Whoever said that was true? Why do we have to give quick answers to quick questions? You don't. So why do we do it all the time? Right. They say, so what do you do? And you're like, I don't know what I do. So we say something stupid. Why? Because we're lacking context. If we start to build our I help X achieve Y because, we start to feel ready. Why does a basketball player feel confident when they're on the court of play? Because they have a series of moves, a series of practices, a series of drills. They're not like, oh, I just know the play I'm going to run the play, the play's going to work fine. They know that whatever happens on the court, I've got choices I can make, and I can reach into this body of experience to make a choice for the moment that presents itself. And if I know how to create moments, I know how to get into position, then I know how to deploy the right answer when I get into position. So you're asking me, how do you get into position? And I'm going to teach you how to do that, but just not right now.
Sounds good. Thank you.
If you build a list of 3 by 3 and then you times that by 3 with I help X achieve Y because, I help X achieve Y because, you've got moves. What you then might want to be able to do is to understand what is actually valuable. Because when you are delivering your value statement, which is your what do you do statement, it needs to be valuable. Just sit with that for a second. If you're delivering your value statement, it needs to be valuable. Your value is only valuable where it is both appreciated and appreciating. Sit with that for a second. Your value is only valuable where it is both appreciated and it's appreciating. Let's take the appreciated thing. Who in this room would like to purchase a pink inflatable dinghy from me right now with glitter stardust and like mermaid horns on it, and it's $4,750 and it's used?
How used? Would you use it for?
Got lots of questions around this now, right? We got a lot of people thinking, what's he talking about? Some of you like, I'm in, and then it like, well, hang on. What if by alternative we are out in the middle of the ocean and the vessel that we're on is currently sinking, and the only means of escape is said pink inflatable dinghy? How much would you be prepared to pay for it now? Whatever it takes. Do you care how used it is now? No care less, right? I don't care what you did with it, to be honest. Give me it now, here's everything I've got. Yes or yes? See, your value is only valuable where it is appreciated. Sometimes we don't consider the environment of where we are inserting our value statement, therefore instantly gets rejected because it wasn't valuable to that person in that moment. Doesn't mean it isn't valuable. It means it wasn't valuable in context where it's appreciated. What about appreciating? You know the importance of compound interest? It needs time. If you cannot consider how your value appreciates over a period of time, then you cannot communicate its value at the highest of levels. Like if you learn from Dr. James that eating avocado is good for you and you decide to eat avocado tomorrow, how valuable is that to you? It becomes insanely more valuable over a period of time. See, if I'm Dr. James and I say, well, if you come and book me to come and work with your people, as I'm going to teach more of your people that they should eat more avocado, it's a strong statement, but they're going to be like, what is wrong with you, you crazy MF, right? Like, this is not Greg AF, this is crazy MF. And now we're struggling with this because I don't see the value in this. Because yes, you might teach people to eat avocado, but what you're actually going to do is you're going to help a team full of people to how to access new levels of energy, achieve better sleep, reach more of their peak potential, which means that, which means that, which means that. So we shouldn't be looking to sell the tactic because eating avocado is not on most people's wish list. So we can't sell them the solution, we have to sell them the knowledge of the problem. This is a different game. I promise you this will all come together before I'm done. I expect this to be messy at this point. Does it feel messy? Good. It feels like we got some smart people. Do you know there are only 4 things that are actually valuable to anybody at any period of time? Only 4 things? Did you know that? Huh. There are only 4 things that are actually valuable. Only 4 things I'll part with money for. I will give you money if you give me more money. There's one, right? So if you're looking for somebody to see value in your offer, if you cannot communicate how me giving you money is going to give me more money or save me more money, then we're missing one of the value pillars. Money for money is a clear exchange. What might be another? Time, right? Right? Is I'll give you money for more time, I'll give you money for more time. If you can save or make me time, then there's a chance I'll exchange money for it. Now, if it isn't money or time, what else could it be? Let me give you the third one. Risk. I will part with money if you can help me mitigate risk. And the fourth and final, status. If I can improve the story I tell myself about myself as a result of the money that I give to you, then there's a strong possibility I'll give you money because the story I can now tell myself about myself is kinder. They're the only 4 things that we'd part with money for. So if we're building our help X, achieve Y statements, all of them should lead to 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So we're back to working with sales teams. We know some of the problems that they are faced with. A sales team is struggling to be able to generate more of their own opportunities. What could I help X achieve Y statement be that then talks towards some of those points and factors that are right there?
You mean basically plug in the things we just...
Just try and find one. We've got a sales team that is struggling.
I help sales professionals increase their pipeline of more opportunities.
Right? Alan is instantly more bookable because he helps sales teams increase their personal pipeline of opportunities than he was when he talks about, well, I can deliver a presentation that will help them maybe feel better about themselves and understand more about their culture and feel a touch more motivated. Because you're talking immediately towards a problem. But what you should be able to do is to then take I help sales teams to be able to access and create more of their own personal pipeline. We can now translate that towards money, which means that you as an organization need to spend less time buying them leads, that they learn to be able to hunt for themselves. It allows them the ability to be able to sustain their own careers, which means it saves you time in training and development, saves you time inside of leading them. What it also does is it mitigates the risk of you only ever needing to be able to purchase leads in order to be able to be successful, which allows you to be able to sustain your growth of an organization to hire more people, which is going to give you more of the long-term results that you're looking for. Isn't that all of those? That's money, time, risk, and status. Our ability to be able to communicate what we do, to talk towards those 4 factors, makes us insanely more valuable. What is it that makes something valuable? It isn't the price you put on it. It's the price that somebody else sees it as being worth to them. Your ability to be able to communicate what this is worth to them is what's going to allow them to be able to part with more for it. This becoming helpful so far? So how do we start to tie this together? We're going to know these pieces of information. If I help X achieve Y, and we're going to know that times 3, times 3, times 3, and we're going to understand as we're re-editing those statements, that we're editing through the lessons of, well, how's that going to help them make or save money? Or how's that going to help them make or save time? Or how's that going to help them mitigate risk? Or how's that going to help them elevate their status? And then we're going to need to build a series of statements. People come to me sometimes because they like to know exactly what to say, and rarely do I tell people exactly what to say, but today I'm going to share with you exactly what to say. See, if you are looking for people to know what you do when they ask the "so what do you do" question, the first thing you need to be able to respond with is a scene setter. You have to set a scene, right? Why do you ask curious questions? Because curiosity earns you what? Context. The struggle we have when we're delivering our answer to the "so what do you do" question is it doesn't have context. Now, because context doesn't exist, you have to create context. So we have a contextual scene setter. Something like, well, you know how most people, many people, some people, and then we paint the picture of the situation that we would like to find ourselves talking about. Well, you know how many people who are in sales leadership positions find themselves challenged by. This is pretty easy to do, right? I want you to catch some really useful language hacks. There's a technique in language called labeling. As much as the world wishes that we didn't need to use labels, could you imagine walking into a pantry full of ingredients where everything was in glass jars and those glass jars were covered and nothing had a label on it, and I needed you to find the flour quickly? Like, you're not going to find the flour quickly without a label. As much as we wish there weren't labels, we need labels. If there are 100 people in a room and I said most people, how many people am I talking about? If there are 100 people in the room and I said many people, how many people am I talking about? If there are 100 people in a room and I said some people, how many people am I talking about? If there are 100 people in a room and I said a few people, how many people am I talking about? If there are 100 people in a room and I said a handful of people, and then how many am I talking about? I never gave you any of those numbers, and you all found numbers instantly. I gave you 0 numbers, but you created story math in your own mind just based on me labeling something. Most, many, some, few, a handful, almost every. One of the cleanest pieces of advice is that I'll give, given the fact that yesterday I said to never give advice, is to, where possible, never speak in absolutes. Catch the irony in that.
Sorry about that.
Why? Because it creates space. Has anybody ever said to you, like, Glenn, you always leave the toilet seat up? And you're like, well, there was this one time. Like, there's instant conflict, right? When we speak in always and never, instant conflict, because you jump to the exception of the time that wasn't true. Everybody, you're like, well, there was this one guy. So try to not speak in absolutes, but most, many, some, few. See how that creates a frame that allows people to understand how many people you're talking about. So useful in a contextual scene setter. Well, you know how most people, many people, some people, and then we're going to put a contextual setup. But what I've said here is that I would like that contextual setup to then be amplified with a which means that. And remember yesterday I talked about motivation? Only 3 things that will motivate anybody. The thing they want to run away from, the thing they want to run towards, the thing that lights them up inside. Well, more people are going to move because of a potential pain than they are a potential pleasure. So the scene setter that I'm looking to be able to put in place in the first instance is a way motivated, some form of bad news. I'm going to create a problem worth solving. Well, you know how many sales leaders find themselves in a situation that they are leading a team full of people who can't hunt for themselves, they can't fish for themselves, they can't create enough opportunities for themselves. What does that do in the other person's mind? Ding, that's right. All I now do is I add a which means that. What do I now insert? I now insert the problems and the whys behind the problems. Which means that those sales professionals continually come to the leader for leads, thinking it's their job to make them successful. They lack the skills to be able to farm for themselves. They find themselves in situations month in, month out, missing quota. And worse than that, the long-term results is good people often end up leaving the organization because they fail to hit the results that were expected by everybody. We now got a problem worth solving, right? Where do we go from there? Now what we do is we bounce. How do we bounce? We introduce a I help X achieve Y statement. Well, I help those people achieve improved results, learn what it takes to be able to win in a hyper-competitive market. And then all we do is we add another which means that, which is the opposite of the which means that we gave before, which is the towards motivated part of the away motivated scenario that we said, which means that those individuals access new levels of confidence, they become less resourced on the leadership because they can independently hunt for themselves. They develop the mindset and the skill set to be able to convert and create more leads and opportunities. If you're speaking to the right person, what does that person now say? Right? They say, how do you do that then? Right? And from there, you're pretty good, right? How good are all of you from the how do you do that then? Most of you can go from there. Like, now I'm ready. But to get to that point, what you've done is you've made it worth it before you've explained what you do. What many of us do is we explain what we do, and then they say, why is it worth it? And you say, well, now I'm behind. You have to explain why it's worth it to get them to say, well, how do you do that then? And you now say, well, being as you've asked, let me tell you. This is a different game to play. So, Alan, if you've got your 3 by 3 by 3, how many, you know how most people, many people, some people, contextual setups could you write? Which means that, could you write? Well, I help those people achieve this, this, and this. Which means that. Could be rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, and have ourselves like 100 reps of, well, you know how most people find themselves in a situation that's blank. Which means that. Well, what I do is I help those people achieve this. Which means that. Again and again and again. Once you have all of that arsenal behind you, you then find yourself in day-to-day conversations with other people, correct? And we've got to learn how do we position what it is that we do when people ask you questions like, so what do you do? This is one of the hardest questions in the world because we think we need to answer it promptly. We don't. What did we learn from Tim earlier on when we're trying to ask ourselves a difficult question? What's the first thing you have to do? Acknowledge attention, and then what are we doing? And we're taking a giant step back to look at it. We're not trying to find the answer. We're looking for insights. We're looking for information. We're looking for data that can help inform the answer to this question. This is what we have to do in everyday conversation. How do you do that? Like this. I'm going to show you how this works in one of the other most difficult questions to answer on the planet, which is the what would you like for dinner question. It's a trick question, right? It's tough. Why is that question so hard to answer? It's tricky, right? That's what happens, right? Like, hey, Jim, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? Well, I'm not fussy. I mean, like anything. And you're like, okay, well, I got an idea for anything. And that idea gets inserted. And you're like, no, not that. Freaking idiot. Why on earth would I want that? And you're like, well, what about this? And I'm like, no, that's freaking late. And before we know it, we're having a full-blown argument. Neither of us actually cared what we ate. But we now care so much about what we eat, we're going to like need marriage counseling. You laugh because it's true, right? This is what happens, Emily. Where is the safest place to ask questions when you're hunting for truth? This is a big idea when you catch this. You won't be able to unlearn it. It's in the past. It's behind you. We should ask historic-based questions that people know the answers to. It's very easy to give confident answers to things that we know for sure. In the so what do you do question, we're going to come to how we can do that there. But in the what's for dinner question, the easiest response for it is to ask a past-based question like, what did you have for lunch? See how helpful that is to contextualize? If you could ask somebody, what do they have for lunch? Their inside voice says, I know this one. And they tell you. They could tell you what they have for lunch. What could you ask next? Another curious question. You could ask, well, how hungry are you? They're like, I know this one too. And all we've done is we've asked 2 past-based questions that have helped contextualize the situation that we're currently in. That now means that many of the options have now been deduced. Understand this? 2 questions. We've now got a far smaller pot to be able to play in. Where do we go from there? We might say, well, do you want to eat in? Or should we go out? That's a gateway question at present, correct? But we use 2 past-based questions to then get to a gateway question. They're like, I know the answer to this one too. See, if they're like, well, I've just took a shower and I'm like in my comfies and like I'm done, like I'm in, well, you shouldn't be suggesting let's go out for dinner, correct? There's another 50% of deductions. Like now we're in a way smaller pot. They've said like, I'm in, okay. What do we got in the fridge? Oh, it's another past-based question, right? I know this one. What do we got in the fridge? And there's nothing in the fridge. See how much easier it's becoming as to what's for dinner? Options are deduced again, right? Nobody's cooking. We got nothing to freaking cook. Okay. Like we don't have to have the we need to be making smarter decisions about how healthy we are in the household. I love cooking. I miss cooking. Like all these options are now off the table. So I say, I guess we should be ordering in. And they'll say what? I guess so. I guess we should be ordering in. Is this safe? Look to where we're going to get to. I'd say, well, is there anything you're opposed to? Whew. Now I got some other deductions. How safe am I now when I'm getting towards recommendations? No, there's nothing I'm opposed to. Okay. Is there anything front of mind that you definitely want? No, there's nothing there either. Well, I was thinking Chinese food. Have you got a better idea? See how easy that was to close? Can we do that in every area of life? Start with past-based questions. Move to present-based questions. When you're looking to create movement, you're looking at gateway questions. 2 versions of yes, this way or this way. Suggesting alternatives by deducing. Not shooting too soon. 0 advice given. The only time I got to a point of giving an option was when it was the only option that was left to be able to give. The reason people should choose you is not because of the one good reason they should choose you, is because there's no good reason not to. That's a different game to play. Give them no good reason not to choose you, and we play safer. So here's what happens, is Alan meets a guy at the airport. You're chatting at the airport, and because you run out of other things to be able to talk about, they say, so what do you do? And you're now like, I don't know. Phil gave me like, I got all these ingredients. I'm supposed to say, hang on, where are my notes? Wait, let me find my phone, right? That happens. You have to better buy yourself some time. That's all you have to do. Buy yourself some time and space to it by asking a handful of curious questions. Like I do a number of things. In fact, I was in Toronto for work just now. I mean, what brings you to Toronto? What are they going to be like? I know this one. Right? And before you know it, they're telling you their Toronto story. And in that process, is they show up and throw up all over you. It's like, I'm a busy executive. I run a sales team and I'm here. I'm traveling all around. And I had to get to Toronto because, the team aren't doing what they should be doing right now. And, they're underperforming and they need me to show up to be able to teach them how to be able to do what the thing is that they do. And you're like, this is awesome. And you're naturally itching to be like, show up and throw up. You're like, I can help. I can be the hero in this story. Just let me at it. I can save you. I can save them. I can save them all, right? Don't. Like our mutual friend, Todd Webster, Tamsin's husband, was in a bar with me a few years back and taught me that the second mouse gets the cheese. The second mouse gets the cheese. Don't be first. But the lesson in the second mouse gets the cheese statement isn't to not be first. It's to be second, which means you're not third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh either. So it's remain patient enough to ask a handful of more questions. Because you want to sell them a speech, right? What needs to be true if you're going to sell them a speech? They have to have events that they get people together. It's a very basic fundamental that is necessary, right? If you're going to sell them a speech, there needs to be... Correct. You can't be like, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to deliver this killer speech. And they're like, no. Like, they're dotted all over the world. They work remotely. They never get together. They work on different time zones. And you're like, fuck. So you ask a few more clarifying questions. How often do you get everybody together? Well, like, we have an annual SKO. We have a quarterly get-together. We have morning huddles. Huh. When is the next time that you get everybody together? Like, collectively. They're like, I know this one. See how safe it is to play in the past? At those events, what is your experience of hiring external professionals to be able to help support and amplify a message? This is useful, right? They're like giving you all the context. You didn't have to answer the "so what do you do" question if you were brave enough to give an answer, not the answer, a contextualizing answer, and then you ask them to give their response to the question. And after they've shared everything, and they think you're freaking awesome because you gave them a soapbox to stand on and share their life, and you gave them a free therapy session, what do you say to them? You say, it was funny we met today. Because you know how many sales leaders find themselves in a situation that they're just not getting the results that they would like from their teams, and like rarely do they get enough time face-to-face, and when they do get the face-to-face time, they don't get to be able to make the impact that they're looking to be able to have with those teams that really drives results, which means that you as a leader find yourself needing to say the same thing again and again and again, and you get like upward pressure about the results that you're not getting, and that you find yourself not knowing where to turn, which means that you feel burnout and that you feel stress and that you don't get the results that you know that you are capable of. Well, what I do is I help those leaders and the teams that they work with to access new levels of performances. I borrow the wealth of experience I've had from the world of professional sport to deliver handcrafted custom keynote presentations that helps people access more of their peak potential, which means that what they do is they find the confidence to be able to self-generate results. They find the mindset to be able to get up and do the basics to a high standard consistently every single day. And the result of that is that people like you get to be able to enjoy more of the effort that you put in to be able to breed back the results that you're looking for. That's what I do. Can't believe we met today.
Wow.
You could all do that if you're prepared to be slow enough to position your answers to the "so what do you do" question. Instead, we rush. See, when we look at this here, it says curiosity, empathy, courage. What it should really say in this context is ready, aim, fire. Ready, aim, fire. But what do most of us do? Fire. Like, why that way? I wasn't even ready. And then have to try and deal with the consequences of the carnage that we created, that if you just slowed down for a second, captured some context to the other person's scenario, remained curious a little more than most people would, reached a position of empathy so you felt like you're on the same side, looking at the same problem from the same vantage point, and then was courageous enough to tell some very specific stories, then what could happen is people could say, I need that, I need that, I need that. And people could ask you, Kevin, they could ask you, what do you do? And you say, I do a few things. I've been involved in a number of businesses. And, I've been here down in North Carolina recently, just, taking care of some of the challenges that have been caused as a result of some of the recent weather conditions. And what about you? What brings you to North Carolina? You see, I give an answer to the question that's 100% true, that gives nothing away, and then bounce it back to an answer to them. And they say, well, I'm here because I'm in the construction business, and I've been back and forth, like almost every week for the last number of weeks, trying to be able to lead the team, trying to be able to get access to the tools that we need to be able to get these projects back up on the street, trying to help people. You're like, oh, really? Wow. Like how long have you been doing that kind of work? How do you get into it? Like, you just stay curious a little longer and they tell you all that story. And you go so how much equipment do you need? How much equipment do you have? What do you own right now? And they're like, I know this one. They tell you the answer to that. And you're like, it's so funny we met today. Because you know what I do? Is, you know how there's people in the construction industry that need to access equipment quickly and often to be able to complete big projects in disaster recovery, and often they don't even know where that equipment is when they need it. And they struggle to know how to access the right equipment in the right way, which means that they sometimes lose equipment, that they sometimes don't get it to the right place in time, which causes projects to run over. It causes labor to not have the tools that they need. It compels over a period of time that just means that people like you find the job even harder to do than it already is. Well, what I do is I help serious professionals that are in the disaster recovery industry to at least know where that inventory is at any one period of time so they can access it quickly, so they can deploy it to the sites that it's needed in the record amount of times, minimizing downtime on job sites, meaning that people aren't over-committing themselves with equipment into environments, and more importantly, resulting that people that have been challenged by disasters get back to living some form of normal life quickly. And they're like, fancy meeting you here on this plane ride. But instead, we say, like, I run a software company that, just like helps people with inventory management. You go like, all right, okay, I'll have a gin and tonic, please. You laugh because it's true. The opportunity lives in our ability to capture the moments that are happening in our everyday moment. But because we think the moment is fleeting, we think we have to respond to it quickly. We don't. We have to respond to it intelligently. You slow the process down, you'll speed the outcome up. And this will be true to you in every area of life. Problem exists inside your family unit, and you're looking to jump straight to solution mode. What you might be better to do is to catch a breath. Go back in time with some historic-based curious questions. Look at the difference that happens when a member of your family is dealing with a challenging scenario. I've got 5-year-old twins. I could say to my 5-year-old twins, what's wrong? Like if they're upset, what's wrong? You realize how hard that question is to answer? Because we're asking people to solve for themselves in one question. It's too big of an ask. What if I swap the what's wrong question to the what happened? It's a tiny change, but one is saying, let's go back in time, bring me up to speed with some known details. Now what we've got is new context, because we asked a few curious questions. You don't need witty answers to the so what do you do question. You don't need witty answers to any of the regular questions you're being asked on a daily basis. You need the tools to be able to slow the conversation down to earn context before you jump into answer mode. Has this been helpful?